listeners, welcome to D20 Dames. I'm your producer and occasional Sildar, Brittni Liyanage. I just wanted to jump in this week to say hi and to thank everyone for listening. I'm especially grateful to those of you who have been recommending the show on social media. So we wanted to give a special shout out this week to Drew_Lab on Twitter, who said, "Spent most of my road trip binge listening to D20 Dames. I applaud of their pro-pun, cheese-positive platform." Tweets like these help so much to spread the word about D20 Dames, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Drew_Lab. If you could also consider rating and reviewing D20 Dames on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts, that would help us so much. It helps us to get up in the rankings so others can find us as well. We would super appreciate that. One more thing, stay tuned after this episode for a special announcement from our very own Jen Vaughn. Very exciting news. But to jump into this episode, this week, the Dames are enjoying some downtime after successfully rescuing Sildar Hallwinter's daughter Alana and her friends. So let's jump in and see what they're getting up to.
One thing I want to do before we actually start is, so Nevar decided that in the last downtime until now, she was going to sow some rumors about the sleeping giant.
Oh, I'm wiggling my eyebrows, but y'all can't see.
No.
So basically, she spent a gold piece every day for the past 6 days. Nevar, why don't you tell us what kind of rumor you were trying to seed around town?
Yeah, so since the Sleeping Giant wasn't really getting a lot of patrons, since the turnover, hasn't been a lot of traffic coming through there, Nevar figured she would kind of try to help Grista out. She tried the flight of ales, and so she figured, all right, well, I'll just start letting people know, like, you know, the beer selection at the Sleeping Giant's pretty good, and, you know, they have a pretty wide selection as far as, you know, whatever you prefer as far as tastes, and it's pretty good quality. So she's trying to get people to disassociate its previous reputation and kind of see it as a valuable watering hole for the regular townspeople.
All right, so what you need to do is just roll a persuasion check, because you're sending a positive rumor around and not like lying about what they actually have on offer. You actually legitimately enjoyed the drinks there, right?
Yeah, there was a couple that weren't her taste, like not her preference, but she didn't want to let that deter from, like, overall the ales were pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so if you roll a persuasion check and let me know how that pans out.
All right, let's see. All right, 16 plus my 5 in persuasion, that's 21.
Excellent. All right, so the Dames head on over to the Sleeping Giant, and the place is packed. Sweet. It's as though every tourist in town and some of the locals are there to enjoy the offerings that they've heard so much about. So you enter the building, and again, to refresh everybody's memory, it was sort of a place of ill repute because it was where the Red Brand Ruffians used to hang out.
They sound hot.
They were the bandits, the bad boys that were hanging out in town and causing a lot of trouble. But they've been run out by another adventuring party.
But they were sexy bandits.
Yeah, sexy.
Did they leave their, like, you know, bejeweled, monogrammed loincloths around? It's the barbarian version of a handkerchief.
I don't know that I want that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Grista has some memorabilia, but the memorabilia that is on the wall right now is mostly related to Volo, because that's been the big reason why people are coming here. It's for tourism. Mm-hmm. Because Volo's Guide to Monsters came out, and he had talked the town up about, you know, all the monsters that were around here. So yeah, you enter there. The walls, you know, people are sort of looking at the displays on the walls. They're drinking what Krista's got on offer. She's behind the bar again, and she looks absolutely overwhelmed because she's clearly understaffed.
Regardless of the fact that Krista's probably pretty frazzled, Nevar's looking around and she's pretty pleased with her handiwork. Like she's grinning very smugly. Yeah, so she saunters her way up to the bar and kind of leans an elbow on the counter. And
if you can squeeze in there.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, she definitely kind of, wiggles and nudges her way in. And she tries to make eye contact with Krista, but she doesn't want to distract her to be annoying, but she definitely wants to catch her eye line so that she can throw her a smirk.
Just to be fair, it's probably really easy to annoy Krista.
I know, that's why I'm not going to push my luck.
So as you make your way up to the bar, you notice the crowd is sort of moving around. It's as though they're parting for something that you can't see. And all of a sudden, there's this covered basket that appears. It looks like it's just the covered basket that's pushing its way through the crowd. Comes around the side of the back side of the bar, and it lands on the counter. And behind it is Nevar Bannock.
Oh.
And he pulls off the cloth with a flourish to reveal an entire basket full of bread.
Yes.
Now, as you recall, last time there were no food goods to be offered here. So Nevar catches sight of you, Nevar, and he's like, "Oh, hello there." And then he brings his basket, hoists it over, and brings it over to your side of the bar. And you get a peek in there, and it's what he's got in there is it's basically sourdough bagels. And he says, "Well, I gotta thank you. Krista here, she said that you had mentioned there were no snacks to be had here, so I made her an offer and made some gluten-free bread for the tap house."
Oh God, so perfect.
I love it. Oh, they're so handy. You can stick your finger in it and hold it.
Yes. And he says, now to be fair, Krista here is quite the entrepreneur. And when I told her about the gluten, she advised for better brand recognition to call them something else. So here are chets. And he hands one to each of you.
Nevar just holds it up in front of her, and she is grinning from ear to ear, just so overly pleased. And she's like, "Now this is what I'm talking about, Nevar." And she takes a huge bite.
Oh, how is it?
I'm assuming it's very chewy.
Yes.
But not super plain like a plain bagel, but it has a bit of savoriness to it, almost as if it were an everything bagel, but I'm assuming there's not a whole lot of stuff on the outside, unless there is, and that just is in the description that we didn't get.
No, it's fairly plain. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for being plain, Nevar looks at it and she's like, not bad, Nevar. Got some hidden seasoning in there.
Oh, there's plenty of secrets that I got hidden. And Krista's just she kind of scours at him for a second, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, the first one's free for friends, eh?"
Riot shakes her head. Yes, you're welcome for the name. This will do as payment.
Yeah, and Nevar just tips her bagel toward Nevar and says, "Thanks for remembering me," and gives him a wink.
He winks back. Yeah, Krista's quite the entrepreneur. Look at what she's done with this place. This place used to be a real rat hole. And as he's sort of flattering her, Krista's sort of eyeing him, but she also might be blushing.
Aw.
So yeah, you're free to talk. I know that you wanted to discuss some of the last adventure. It's probably not the most quiet place to talk, but at the same time, it's so boisterously loud that it doesn't seem like anybody's really going to be eavesdropping at the same time.
Yeah, Nevar definitely wants to get an ale to help wash down this delicious but dry bagel. Before Dapper walks away, she looks at him and goes, "Hey, Dapper, got any schmear?"
Oh no, what's that? And his eyes go really bright.
And she just goes, "Where's the cheese?"
Oh, a cheese chat, you say?
Yeah. and she just gives him a wink and kind of points at like finger guns in his direction.
He wags
She's
the
like,
finger at you. You're a smart one.
"I'll be looking forward to the next one, Dapper."
And he runs off to take care of bringing in some more food.
Okay.
And leaves you to talk. And Grista will pour up whatever brews that you want.
Yeah, Nevar waves her bagel in Grista's direction to get her attention and says, "Hey, Grista, can I get a Golden Sands orange to wash this down?"
It's funny you should ask for that because she already had one poured and she lays it in front of you.
Oh, you must have heard that this was my favorite of the flight. And she takes a big gulp.
She just nods.
Okay. Nevar smiles and says, "Yep, very refreshing."
Did either Rose or Riot, do you want to imbibe as well?
I would love some. Nevar, what do you think I would like?
You know, I'm gonna guess that you probably have a little bit of a sweet tooth, kind of like me. I think you should also get the Golden Sands Gold.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. The orange, the Golden Sands orange.
Whatever she is recommending for me, I would like one of those, please. And I pass payment across the
And
table.
she says, but get Riot, if she wants a suggestion, the Golden Sands Gold, because that one's kind of sassy and's got a little spike, just like her.
Is this the ale though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's from the flight I had last time I was here.
Yeah, I'm feeling more like the Dungeon Brew brewed mead.
Okay, that's
more
fair.
More my speed right now. I'm still bleeding from the shoulders, so I think I might actually need the sugar intake.
From our run-in with the Knolls.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And Nevar sort of says that like loud enough that the people around her can hear.
Oh, I mean, from our definitely legal amateur wrestling we were doing out in the forest. Just, no kayfabe over here.
All right, so Grista obliges, and was it Nevar you wanted to talk about connecting some dots with the ribbon and everything, or do you just generally want to talk about the?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if there's looking around the room, if there's a place that we can find like room for the three of us to sit.
I think eventually, like when you're, doing your rounds of the room, there's going to be like a table with some people that are just wrapping up, and you can do the thing where you stand next to the table.
Yeah, we kind of hover so that we can poach it.
Yeah, and they see that you've got all these weapons and everything, and they move a little bit faster because they're just tourists.
Awesome. So Nevar kind of sits very like she conquered that spot and claimed it as theirs.
As the patrons are leaving the table, though, one of them brings out a scrap of paper, and they're like, "Are you famous adventurers? Can you sign this?"
Sure.
Of course. Nevar definitely signs it. Her autograph is kind of not like super swirly, but definitely like the ends like really large and fancy, and the handwriting is very neat and like scrawled in a very kind of creative and artistic way.
Oh, this is great. Thanks.
Is no one else gonna sign it?
I guess none of the rest of you are famous, hey? See ya.
Your companions are quiet, miss.
I was waiting for Nevar to finish with her flourish. Is he walking away? He's walking away.
Yeah, he's like, cool. Did you see her? She has an entourage and everything.
Nevar just lifts her glass to Rose and goes, better luck next time. And then takes a drink.
You're getting the next round. Oh, famous one.
Well, if I keep this up with spreading the rumors, maybe that'll be just fine because they'll be on the house.
Either way,
At
that
least
just
that's
sounds
my
like me
hope.
not paying.
And so she takes another bite of the Chet. Oh, that sounds awful, though. Now I think of Chet. And, yeah, she's kind of looking, sort of humble bragging, but also sort of looking for, like, confirmation from her gal pals, like, to be like, you know, can you believe this? Like, Riot, when we were in here last, it was totally empty, and now look at this place. It's bumping.
Yeah, these patrons are gonna dirty up this place real fast. Good job.
So she takes another drink and she sets her mug down and she sort of like stares off for a moment. You can tell that she's kind of processing. And she's like, yeah, so you know what's weird is what we experienced in the forest. I had like a premonition. Remember I was telling you about a dream I had?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw those kids playing in the forest, and I heard these, like, monstrous, terrifying sounds. The sounds that those creepy things were making. I dreamt that before it happened. It was like deja vu, except it hadn't happened yet.
Weird. It really would have been helpful if it had, like, given you enough deja vu to stop it.
I guess that's true. I'm wondering if it's from the Raven Queen. I think I should maybe
The who
start
now?
paying closer attention. Oh, the Raven Queen. She's my patron. That's kind of how I got all the, you know, the sparks and magical whatnots.
Is Quoth still on your shoulder?
Oh, he's always with me. And she reaches up and strokes his feathers.
The angle of Nevar's head was blocking him from the rest. Don't worry about it. She's got
Oh,
some,
yeah, I
she's got
see him
some
now.
big
It's-
hair from the
Yeah,
humidity.
she brushes her fringe. It's all this.
Between your hair and your horns, it's amazing. I can see anything. And my height.
Sometimes he kind of, you know, sits more toward the back of her shoulder as opposed to like right next to her head like a pirate. But there's still a lot I don't really know about him either. I mean, I just started this whole warlock thing and there's so much to figure out. I mean, it's really cool and I try to act like I know what I'm doing. And she
What do
takes
you mean
a drink.
just started?
Well, I only just started adventuring not that long ago. I mean, It's been less than a year, really. And to be honest, the very beginning, I didn't really... you probably can't call it adventuring. It was more just doing what I usually do and visiting places and meeting people and experiencing new things. Except the difference was I just wasn't with my dad this time. I was on my own. But I think I'm glad I met you two because you two seem to be, you know, pretty good at kicking butt. And I think I could probably learn a thing or two from you both because I haven't really done a whole lot of, you know, fighting creepy things like we just did today. And she takes another big swig.
I mean, the fighting the creepy things part isn't really something I have a huge amount of experience with. I mostly just know how to fight because it's part of my training. But, yeah, I mean, there's creatures here that I haven't ever seen before. There are also things that animals I expect to see that I don't see here. So it's a lot of new stuff. But yeah, I'm glad I met you guys too. You're fun to be with, and eat with, and drink with.
Riot shaking her head, looking off and taking a sip of her mead, and just puts it down and says, 5 things. You can learn exactly 5 things from me, Nevar.
Only 5? She holds up her finger, and she's waiting. She's holding up one finger.
Yeah, Riot has a second sense for these things, so she just keeps looking ahead. Oh, and I can learn 5 from you as well, not just 1.
Rule number 1. Always be cool.
She takes a drag from a cigarette.
And she swoops the bangs from in front of her eyes, like in a really like kind of cool and like, you know, sexy way. Not in like a way that she's seducing Riot, but just like she's trying to look cool.
Riot, as you're sort of like glancing off, you notice that there's an elven woman who has come in, and she's instantly fascinated by the wall decor. She's got red hair and freckles, and her eyes are this really beautiful color of emeralds. And she's scanning the walls, and she's suddenly fixated with this one piece of memorabilia in particular.
All right, Riot's gonna be like, hold on a second, and put her drink down. No, take it with her. Yeah, put it down, picked it back up, still making eye contact with Nevar and Rose. Yep, going this way. And posts up next to the memorabilia to see more of what she's actually staring at and why she's so excited.
She's staring at a scrap of paper. I think you noticed it the last time, and it's in Volo's handwriting. It's a note that says, "A hag always has some potion or amulet that puts the odds in her favor. If you're lucky, she only wants to make you miserable instead of just killing you."
Riot kind of holds out her flag and goes, "Well, are you the hag?"
She looks over at you a little bit horrified, and her bright green eyes go wide. "What did you say?"
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know who this is written about? The piece of paper?
"Oh no, I'm a fan of Master Vola's work. To see all of this on the walls is just incredible." Did you see all of it? Do you think it's really his?
I think 75% of it is.
Which ones do you think are fake?
Exhibit 32 and 10.
All right, I'll go check those out. Thanks.
Oh yeah, no problem. What'd you say your name was again?
I didn't, but it's Delcy.
Oh, Delcy. Very nice. Excellent. Well, please enjoy all the food as well. This place is, they've got these chet things that are just that. It's a bread.
Okay. Are you local?
No, we're part of a venturing party. Just helping out with this. We're gonna call it a soft launch of the restaurant, the Sleeping Giant.
Well, they definitely have a lot of interesting things up here.
Yeah. Are you local?
Oh no, I came here from far, far away. Like I said, I'm a fan of Master Volo's. If you want to do a charisma check for me. Mm-hmm.
Oh, does calling someone a hag right off the bat still give me an opportunity to do that? Okay. I'll take it. And it is. It's gonna be a 7.
Maybe you should start taking those cool lessons from Nevar.
Maybe you shouldn't have walked away from the table when she was giving you the lesson.
Yeah, I know.
Lesson number 1.
Right? Tries to sweep her hair a little bit, but then it gets caught on her horn. And so she's kind of, then tries to blow it up. Yes, the venting is really great here. So super great.
She just kind of nods and then like backs away from
Nevar can see from afar that it's looking a little bit awkward over there. And she just sort of like waves in like a very friendly fashion, sort of motioning for them to both join the table.
Delcy just kind of shakes her head and waves and just walks away. And as she walks away, Sildar actually enters.
Nevar looks at Riot and just shrugs and like, well, I tried.
So did I, said Hirsch back.
Did you?
Nah, not really.
It was
Really
real
hard.
poor performance.
This meat is great.
Oh yeah, you're also still bleeding from your shoulder, so maybe that's not your best foot forward.
Riot pulls her body away from the wall where she's leaning and she's like, oh, damn it. In Volo's name? No.
So Sildar walks into the tavern and he's holding a mug on his way in, which is probably odd. But he's, kind of waving and saying hello to people, but kind of walking quickly because he is looking for a group of people in particular, and that's you guys. So once he makes eye contact with, I would assume maybe he notices Riot first. He kind of
Being
starts
really smooth.
totally
The smoothest.
I actually wonder if maybe he walks in while that's happening and kind of actually looks for someone else because there's some kind of awkwardness happening.
Help, I'm watching it drowning and doing nothing.
Way to be a wingman there.
Nevar will do one of those like kind of like 2 fingers up in the air, like kind of sort of a flick toward Sildar to be like, hey, how's it going over here?
Yes, perfect. So he'll beeline. Still, again, kind of like glad handing and saying hello to people and like cheersing his mug to people because his place is packed and he's loving that. So, but he finally makes his way up to you and kind of raises his glass to cheers with at least Nevar and Rose.
Mm-hmm. It takes Rose a moment because she's actually digging through that sack of stuff that they got from the trees because she remembers there being fabric down here.
Yes.
Okay, well, Nevar definitely lifts her flagon and clanks it against Sildar's mug.
Oh, hello, Sildar. Good to see you.
So great to see you. And he puts his mug down straight away on the table in front and stares at Nevar and looks her directly in the eye, smiling, and says, "I'm drinking the golden ale. This is the
Which one you got
golden
there?
ale.
The Sans Gold or the Sans Orange?
It's the Sans Gold, but it's not Sans Gold. It is with gold."
And Nevar's eyes raise. That's special flavor.
He doesn't pick his glass back up. He just leaves his mug on the table, and then starts kind of fidgeting with his hands. And after he thinks you've gotten the message,
Oh, definitely.
obviously he's extremely grateful. He's a huge smile on his face, and he says, how many times do I have to thank you, ladies? I mean, this is just, it's too much for an old man like me to take, but I don't know. Your kindness is too much at times, but I really, really appreciate it. And Alana really appreciates it too. I know how scared she was, and I don't want to stay here too long. I'm actually concerned about leaving her for too long, but I don't want to. And he's trying his best to like whisper scream because it's so loud. It would be strange to just walk into a tavern and walk right out. So I'll just hang out with you for a little bit. But
yeah, no, Sildar, sir, I just make sure you're not too harsh or smothering on her. It was hinted at that she really admires you and really wants to be an adventuring, heroic figure like you. So it might be a good opportunity to keep her safe, but also teach her ways that she can stay safe as she enters this world.
Riot comes up behind Sildar and puts him in like a neck lock. You know, teach her the good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry about your shirt. Oh. Well, it'll come out. A little salt, a little hot water.
He's definitely had worse on his shirt, so he's unfazed. Yeah, he is just like flabbergasted by what you just said, Rose, because that's kind of the first he's heard of it. But she did ask to see my bow collection, actually. Okay, I see a bonding opportunity here. Okay,
Archery's good. Ranged attacks are good. And she stays away from danger.
I thought she wanted to use them for like building a dollhouse or something. I don't know. She says.
Oh, Nevar rolls her eyes so hard you could practically hear them over all the chatter in the room.
It's just hard to see my little girl growing up. That's all. You understand. And Nevar, I have to say, she's been saying very wonderful things. She's not saying much since she's been home, but when she does talk, it's about how you helped her in the woods, and I can never know what she went through, but I really appreciate that.
Hey, no need to thank us. We're just doing our job. I mean, she's a sweet kid. I'm glad we were able to find him all, in one piece.
Rose just kind of glares at Nevar.
and she looks at Rose and goes, "What? There was some scary stuff out there." I'll spare Sildar so he doesn't get freaked out. And she sort of like trails off under her breath.
Yeah, Sildar is kind of looking around, like darting his eyes at who could be nearby, kind of listening to this again, because he's hoping that this doesn't get out at all. And so far, so good. So.
All right. Was there anything else that you wanted to do while you were in the tavern?
Mostly, Rose is interested in divvying up the loot that's in this bag that we got in the forest. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know about you two, but if you're willing to take a higher cut of the coin and gold, I'd happily take this fabric.
Yeah, take it. Oh, I'm sorry. Nevar, would you like to weigh in on this council of two?
I mean, it's pretty nice fabric. What color is it again?
Lavender.
Oh. Sure, you can have it.
You totally just picked a pastel and you're like, here we go.
No.
Iced periwinkle.
Don't say black. Don't say black. Don't say black.
This was predetermined before this conversation.
Yes. Oh, but there's so much. I could make you something, Nevar. And Riot. And me.
What would be great is to see something really lovely on you. That would really be a treat.
Rose kind of looks down at her clothes and just looks at Nevar like...
No, I just mean I would love for you to have it. All to yourself.
Thanks. Riot, if you need anything, just let me know.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yes, I will, actually. I'll commission you with money.
And then Nevar grabs the edge of the bag and kind of tugs at it and goes, "What else is in there?"
We got some coins,
a gold ring,
and a gold ring, and then the gold pieces.
Yeah, it's unclear how many coins, but we have coins. In addition to gold pieces, there's coins.
Yeah, it's just like random scattering of coins, and it's just like you're not even sure where they're from, what value they could possibly have.
Ooh, that one's from Shulung.
Riot hands that coin to Rose. Well, this one gave you a spark of joy, so here we go.
Thanks. It'll mean that my currency exchange when I go back home, I won't have to exchange as much. So I'll just hold on to this. Thank you.
Nevar wants to grab that ring and take a closer look.
Sure she does.
Sure.
Because nothing ever happened in a fantasy story where you look at a gold ring and take it.
Well, What? No, she's just interested in objects and baubles and stuff.
So was Bilbo.
Well,
He's a monk we talk about back in
so-
Shulung. He made poor choices.
Do you want to do some sort of investigation check on it, or?
Yeah. 12.
As far as you can tell, it's just an average ring. There's nothing magical or even that too high quality. It probably came off of somebody who had a little bit of money on them. It doesn't really look like it's a wedding ring. Yeah.
Okay. While Nevar is looking at it like really closely near her face, Quoth snatched it out of her hands.
Shaggy!
Oh, I guess Quoth wants it. Does anyone else want dibs?
Quoth did a good job during that fight. He should get his own trinket. Where is he going to keep it?
So Nevar takes it out of his beak and then has him jump on her hand, and she puts it on his foot, like around his ankle.
Oh.
And then she's like, how's that? And she holds him out for everyone to see.
Very nice.
Riot, what would you like to do during your downtime?
Riot would like to head over to the Crooked Forest to find the blue leaf guardian that died over there, Tavernier, to grab some wood if she's allowed to, for a bow.
Yes. Okay, so you're gonna. I'm assuming you're gonna go through halfway because
Yes.
there's no other way that you know of. That's as fast. Okay, so you travel the next day to halfway, and it's the same deal as the last time you were in town. It's pretty quiet because it's part of the work week, and you see people in the fields farming. The inn, it looks like it's shut again. So if you wanted, you could head to the back on your own.
All right, I'll head to the back. I might knock on the door just a little bit to see if anyone opens, if Lita opens it.
Okay, so you knock on the door. It doesn't open, but you feel a stone just like whiz right by you and flick on the door. And behind you is a teen boy who is standing about 15 feet away, and his mouth is agape, just like staring in horror at you. And before either of you can say or do anything, Lita Rollings appears, and she just grabs the boy by the scruff of the collar. And she's like, "Are you daft?" And he's like looking back and forth between you, and just says, That's a monster that came from the Crooked Forest." And Lita looks over at you, and she's just completely horrified. "There's only one monster here, and it isn't me nor this tiefling. Apologize straight away." He mutters, "Sorry. And what does it mean to be sorry?" "Sorry means I won't do it again." "Best not. Now go on with you, before I give your butt the boot." And then he just scampers off.
I was gonna shake his hand, so he could get a real feel for the monster grip. But yeah, no, thank you. That was he could have taken off one of my new horns.
She's got her hand on her forehead and one on her hip, and she's just shaking her head. And her face is a little pink because she's just horrified that happened, and says, "With all the goings on and Master Vola's Tome of Monsters, it's put a scare in some folks. I can assure you, we're better than that."
I'm sure you're fine. I've met a lot of people, and they, some of the tieflings they've met are less than feral even. So
We can say the same about some humans.
oh yeah, I think I'm traveling with some of them. So
She laughs. Are you here on some business? Your companions aren't here.
Yes, I am on a personal side quest to the forest, and this is my favorite way to access it.
She arches
She says
an
somewhat,
eyebrow.
yes, favorite and only way I know to visit the forest.
Much like our ale.
Indeed.
Well, you're free to use it, of course.
Thank you so much. Riot probably just starts walking because she's, unable to read some conversational signs. Well, bye.
Ty, I hope you, she's just flustered at this point, find whatever it is that you're looking for. Perhaps I'll see you on the way back through. Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, so you're able to go down the passage, get out on the other side, and you arrive in the crooked forest again. And again, this time, the path is different than it was the past two times. Bud did give you directions on how to get to the Blue Leaf Grove, and as you walk quite a bit, you eventually get to a part of the woods that looks a little bit different. Although it resembles the large maples that were in the grove with Bud, the leaves here are a little strange. They're sort of gleaming this blue, and the leaves themselves have many points. They actually kind of glow with a faint blue light. But like the rest of the crooked forest, it's kind of knotted together and forms a densely packed wall in front of you. What would you like to do?
Is it if Riot looks up, can she see through the canopy at all, or is it pretty much blocking out the sky?
It's I mean, you can see some a little bit of light, but it is tangled. Like you wouldn't be able to probably get over. Yeah.
All right. I think Riot's gonna walk up to one of the trees and put her hand on the bark.
As you reach for the tree, it parts.
Oh. Like it moves, or it splits in half?
It moves. It moves away from your hand.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And like it's basically given you a gap as much as you've moved forward.
Yeah. So Riot just kind of like side shimmies through it.
Well, Riot doesn't even need to, because it's sort of like as you're moving through it parts enough and then closes behind you and lets you go through, and you find yourself in this grove, and there is a fallen, what looks like it was a treant, like a blue leaf treant, just fallen in the middle of the grove.
Okay. What was it that Bud told me about that bow? Just flip through my old notebook since he took up the rest of it.
When you harvest a treant, you gotta do it in the name of Sylvanus, because he sees and balances all, and he meets out wild water and drought and fire and ice and life and death. So you gotta do it in his name. You also gotta hold your distance and take in the total situation rather than latching on to a popular idea of what's best. We don't give ourselves lightly. And you gotta be attuned to this tavernier, guardian. Because all is in cycle, and it's all beautifully balanced. You gotta be bound by the duty to protect life, to protect the cycle, and the sacred balance, and work against those who disturb it. And I think if you can promise all those things to Tavernier, she will give, the Blue Leafs will give you a part of that treant.
She goes over to the fallen tree and gets down on her knees and kind of puts her palms on top of her thighs and kind of closes her eyes and tries to clear her mind. She's like, all right, time to pretend to be Rose. And she kind of thinks of the name Sylvanus, and kind of imagines herself pulling out a piece of wood from the tree, and not getting any splinters, and then having that bow fashioned by some woodworkers, and then using it only to kill evil when need be. And, shows her, like, polishing the wood lovingly. Keeping it, like, when it starts raining, she pulls it away from the edge of the window, and then also images of her planting trees, and using the seeds. So then she kind of opens her eyes and goes, oh, I hope that was enough.
Do you want to do a persuasion check?
Sure.
And I'll give you advantage because Bud did give you the instructions.
Ah, okay. Thank you. Oh, the first one was the best one. 12.
Okay. So as you're thinking of all these things, you kind of feel a presence shifting in your hand, and in your mind you feel like something is accessing the memory of you planting your helmthorn. And then when you open your eyes, there's a beautiful piece of blue leaf wood.
Oh, fantastic. This is my face hurts. What is it doing? I think it's smiling. I can't wait to use this to avenge those that need it. Starts to like use the wrong words in her excitement. So she stands up and she bows to the tree. You will live, not in infamy. Boy, I wish I had a better vocabulary. I think reading all those books would help.
You renown.
You will live in renown. Oh, thank you, voice. Riot looks around. Oh, good. Did I gain a voice in my head too? Girls are gonna love this. And she starts to walk out of the clearing or back through the tree.
All right. So as you're going back the way that you came, the trees they give you room, but they also sort of like gingerly brush against your horns, and you sort of get a little like tingling sensation when they do that. And then the next thing you know, you're out of the grove.
That was easy. She says before walking 5 more hours. No.
I know. As you say that, you do a dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh, the hubris woods. Here we are. 18.
18.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you feel one of the blue leaf sort of try to twine around your leg, but then another blue leaf branch sort of takes it away. It was trying to trip you up.
Oh, clever forest. Yeah, gotta have my wits about me and all that. She takes the piece of wood and straps it across her back with a piece of cloth.
Now, did you want to speak with the woodworkers?
I would. No, there's no... Well, just to see if one of them is a druid or a Volodny craft person, but I doubt it will be. Let's head over there.
Sure. I mean, you could get a woodworker to make a bow for you, but it wouldn't be magically
hard to steal.
Enhanced. Yeah. So that you could do after the fact.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, let's go take it to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the woodworkers, they've definitely dealt with creating bows and other sorts of weapons for adventurers and people coming through town. So they have a good deal of experience. It will take a good chunk of the downtime to create one for you, and they would do it for a cost of 50 gold pieces.
All right, that is a lot of money. That means it's worth it. is Riot's understanding of how money works. So she kind of like puts her 2 fingers to her lips and then brings him down to the wood and goes, "I'll see you later." And I guess Riot would like to head to the Alderleaf farm.
Okay.
If that's okay.
So you're still staying with Kaeline and Carp Alderleaf. So you were working the field in exchange for room and board, or I mean the room was the hayloft, but are you still continuing with that?
I'll probably just pay them instead,
Okay.
so my shoulder can rest up a little bit and I can spend time with the pot.
All right, so you head back, and Kaeline is working the field as usual, and Carp is he's on the front porch with your helmthorn shrub, and he's reading his Volo's Guide to Monsters, which the pages are basically falling out of the book at this point.
Ahoy there, Carp, my man.
He puts a hand up and he tries to mimic you. Ahoy there!
What are you reading? As if she doesn't know.
He holds up the book very proudly. I'm reading more of Master Volo's works.
I've never heard of him.
He doesn't know what's like. His face is kind of frozen because he's just like processing. You can see his eyes kind of going back and forth, and he's like, "Oh, you're having a laugh."
Yeah, trying to having a jape or something is the word. No, just I was giving you stuff. Have you been watering my helm's thorn? She kind of puts her hands on her hips and puts her wings out.
Absolutely. So yes, in the day that you've been away, I've taken copious notes, and he's like digging through the pages, and he's flipping through, and he pulls out like a couple sheets of paper that he's scrawled on. He's like, it's got like the time of sunrise, the time of sunset, how many hours the shrub has had sunlight, how many ounces of water he's given it, like the pH balance of the soil, and he's even done like this botanical sketch of your helmthorn shrub. But then he's drawn a little face on it too.
Just so everyone knows its future.
Yes, exactly. And then when he hands it over to you, the helmthorn actually it reeks of manure.
Oh, I see you gave it a good soil there. Oh God.
Yes, apparently the more it stinks, the better it is. So I put the stinkiest one on it.
Well, I could see you've done beyond the pale, and she pulls out her little coin purse and hands him, I'll say like 3 gold pieces. She's gonna pay him too much because he's a kid.
Yeah, and he's just like, his eyes really go wide. He's, oh, wow, that's rather generous of you. Thank you. I really didn't expect it. And then he pockets it real quick.
Well, I want you to do 2 things as well.
Yes.
I'm going to need you to buy yourself a backup copy of that raggedy book. And 2, I want you to keep making observations like this drawing. Like, fill up a book of different ones. Maybe you'll be the adventure botanist.
Ooh, isn't that a clever thing? Yes, perhaps I shall be. But you do, will you tell me about your adventure? What did you see?
Oh, yeah. Oh, first, gonna need gonna need to sit down. And she sits down on the porch next to him. I don't know why she felt like she had to say it. Maybe kids are uncomfortable sometimes. So she, and then she tells him all about the gnolls and the witherlings on their adventure and saving the kiddos, the gnomes. Dwarves, saving the dwarves.
Yeah, he's just completely enthralled. He's got his head in his hands, and he's just staring up at you with wide eyes and just taking everything in. And occasionally he'll take a note. And then after you're done with your story, he flips over to in the guidebook, and he says he's looking for quotes about gnolls. Well, this is what Master Volo says about gnolls. He says that trying to talk to a gnoll is the quickest path to its stomach.
I'm gonna be honest, we did not even try to talk to them, which is not our MO. But they shot us first. She points to like her shoulder, and we went at him. It was well, it could have been worse.
Are you still bleeding?
No. But I assume it's, she could show, like, the wound.
Yeah, that's a big gaping wound.
Yeah.
So he sees it, and you see his face goes really pale, and then he passes out.
Jeez. She kind of picks him up. Not again. Where's your mom? Oh, God. Yelling. She like kind of yells. Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo!
She comes running over. Oh my word! What happened?
I showed him a little wound a gnoll gave me. She starts to pull back the fabric. She's like, you know what? I don't need this to happen twice.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I'll go in and fetch some salve right away. Carp here, he's got a bit of a weak stomach. I'll get some smelling salts as well. And she goes off and does her thing and comes back and takes care of both of you.
Oh, poor Carp. Oh my God.
Rose, what would you like to do?
Well, I have this fantastic fabric. I want to go to that little shop in town to see what supplies he might have and related to sewing and weaving or tailoring.
Okay, so you're going to head off to Barthen's Provisions?
Yeah, bright and early because I'm an early riser.
All right, so you head on over there, and it's again one of the random clerks that happens to be working there, a different person than the last time.
Of course.
Yes.
I can't build a rapport with anybody.
However, the clerk is currently occupied with a customer, and that customer happens to be Alana Hallwinter.
Oh, hello. Hi, Alana. How are you doing?
Oh, hi. And she sort of looks behind you expectantly, and then kind of just like grimaces.
It's just me.
Oh, hi.
What brings you here today?
I'm buying some cloth.
Ooh, what kind of cloth? I love cloth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I want to get a new outfit made. My dress was ruined, so.
Yeah, I used to work as a tailor's apprentice before I joined the monastery.
She kind of arches an eyebrow at you. Do you still do that kind of work, or are you just exclusively an adventurer now?
I mean, it's still within my skill set. At the monastery, I still mend clothes and occasionally make robes for some of the new monks. That's actually why I came here today. I came to pick up some sewing supplies because I found this fantastic fabric in the forest. And Rose gets like really awkward. Look, it's pretty purple.
She kind of like squishes her nose up, and she's like, yeah, I used to like that color.
You are the second person to have that reaction to this fabric.
Really?
Yeah, I offered to make something for both Riot and Nevar, and Riot was game, but Nevar really didn't care, so I guess I'll make more stuff for myself out of it.
Yeah, I think black is like more Nevar's color. And as she's saying that, the clerk, comes over and gives her package of cloth, and it's just tied with some string, and it's plain black cotton.
That's a nice black. It's not too yellow. It's, yeah.
Could I maybe? There aren't a lot of people who have weaving skills here, or sewing skills. Do you think you could? I have an allowance, and I would pay you to make an outfit for me. And she kind of just looks down on the ground and says, maybe something like your friends.
Yeah. Something that doesn't get caught on shrubs and stuff when you go out adventuring?
Yes, yeah. Dad's teaching me how to fight.
Awesome. That is amazing. I'm so glad that you and him are having these moments together. But certainly, I could very much help you with an outfit. I'll need to take your measurements. But yeah, I could do that.
Okay, so she nods and she's like, she takes out her. This is my allowance. It's 5 gold pieces. Is that enough?
You know what? I will give you the adventuring buddy discount and do it for half that.
And her face lights up, and it's the first time you've really seen her smile since the whole ordeal.
Aww.
And she's just like, adventuring buddies. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I mean, just think. You survived an encounter with gnolls. I've learned that they're gnolls since that day.
Next time, they will not be so lucky.
They will not. I don't know if I'll be around to see you take them on, but I would very much like to.
We will leave you with the cloth.
I'm only stroking it just a little bit. Like it was a cat in my arms.
And she'll give you the payment as well. And
Thank
just kind
you,
of
Alana.
like, just kind of, she kind of goes side to swaying on her feet and then just leaves awkwardly.
I'll bring it by your house
Okay.
in a couple days. Actually,
Okay.
I'll come by your house later today to get your measurements.
Okay. And then she takes off.
I assume she paid for this.
Yeah, the clerk's nodding his head. Yeah. What can I help you with?
I was actually wondering what tools you had in the sewing department. Mine have gotten a little dull, and I've lost a few pieces. So I wanted to kind of restock on thread and needles.
Oh yeah. He goes through the little logbook, finger down on the paper and alphabetical. Oh yeah, weaving supplies. Yeah, we've got a kit for a gold piece,
Perfect. I will give a gold piece.
and in exchange you get a brand new sewing/weaving supply kit.
Fantastic. Out of curiosity, do you happen to have any plant dyes? I was hoping to dye some of the white thread to approximate the purple.
Kaline, Alderleaf on the Alderleaf farm, she might be able to help you out.
Okay, I'll make a point of visiting the Alderleaf farm.
All right. Anything else I can do you for?
I think that's it. Thank you so much.
All right, where are you off to next?
I wanted to go back to the Sleeping Giant, but I also wanted to ask around about the Dark Sisterhood. So I'm gonna head out to Alderleaf Farm.
All right. So you head out to the farm, and you know that this is where Riot has been staying. It's a quaint little farm off to the eastern side of town, tucked away. There's a little farmhouse, and in the back you see a field, and there's a woman. It's a female halfling. She's about 45, and her name is Caroline. And she's just, tilling the field. And on the front porch is her tween son, he's got his nose stuck in a book.
Hi, are you Colleen?
Oh, hello there. It's Caroline.
Kaline. Hi, I'm sorry.
How can I help you?
Hi, I was sent here by Joseph, who works over in Barton's Provisions. He said you might have some suggestions about plant dyes. I found this amazing purple fabric, and I'm hoping that I can dye the thread to, if not match, at least get close. And he said you might know about what plants could produce a purple color.
Oh, well, I'm a bit of a seamstress myself.
Oh,
let me take a look at the cloth.
it's this fantastic lavender wool.
She takes a look at it, and she lists off some berries, but she sort of shakes her head and she says, "It's not a bother. I can just run upstairs now and fetch some that I have upstairs. If you don't mind waiting a moment."
I don't mind at all.
So
I will just enjoy the sunlight.
So she runs up, and as she's gone off to do this, her son on the porch sort of looks over at you, and then looks back at his book.
What are you reading?
He just holds it up, and it's Master Volo's Guide to Monsters.
Naturally. What chapter are you on?
Oh, I'm reading about gnolls at the moment.
Oh, what did they say about gnolls?
Oh, they're quite horrid. You don't want to mess with them. You know what Master Volo says about them?
What?
He says trying to talk to a gnoll is the quickest path to its stomach.
That's fair. There was no talking. I didn't even realize they could talk.
You saw some gnolls?
We did. We encountered them during a trek through the Crooked Forest. It took us a weird way, and we encountered one that was very good at firing arrows, a creepy skeletal one, and then one that looked like it was actively decaying in front of us.
As you're speaking to him, he's pulled out a sheet of paper from his book, and it's like he's comparing notes to what you're saying.
Have you seen a gnoll before?
Oh, no. I mean, in this book, but not in real life. Do you know Riot?
I do. Riot is, well, I guess she's my companion. She's one of my two companions.
Are you quite certain? You seem rather ordinary.
Just kind of look over myself. That is the second time, muttering to myself, that is the second time I have been referred to as ordinary. Is it the tunic?
Well, I mean, you don't have any horns for one.
It's true. I am a human.
Well, yes, I can see that quite clearly. Riot, however, she's well, isn't she rather monstrous?
She's pretty spectacular in her own ways. But having horns or having wings doesn't make somebody necessarily more apt to be an adventurer. It comes from all kinds of different trainings that can bring you down this path.
Oh, that's precisely why I'm reading this book.
What do you hope to do?
I am going to be the next Master Volo, and perhaps be a botanical or... Oh, I can't remember what Riot said. But I shall research monsters and put them in books and such and discover them, just as I discovered Riot.
Do you have some good notes on Riot?
He shows you. He's got like a little a sketch of Riot and a few little things written about her. Just about like her teeth and her horns and a little bit about her snark.
You've definitely captured some strong aspects of Riot.
Oh, well, thank you. That means quite a lot coming from one of her companions. Would you like to learn anything about any of the monsters in my book?
I would. I honestly haven't actually had a chance to read it myself. I've
Well, are you not a monster hunter?
Not actively. I'm by training, I'm a tailor, and by life, I'm a monk. But I've come out this way actually to track down some information about Mr. Volo's research. But just because... Oh, go ahead.
What do you need to know? What do you need to know? I'm sure I can find it for you.
Is there anything in there about the Dark Sisterhood?
He starts flipping through his book. Well, Dark Sisters. Ooh, yes, there is, actually.
Would you mind reading it to me or letting me take a look?
He's a little bit wary about you taking hold of his book.
You know what?
'cause
I'll let you read it to me. You are the expert.
He seems really flattered. Well, I wouldn't quite call myself an expert yet, but I do know this book quite thoroughly. And what it says about the Dark Sisterhood is that they are hags. Master Volo says that if you want to know a secret, you ask a hag. The trick lies in getting the truth out of her.
Oh. Does he say anything about the types of secrets that he... Is it any secret or just specific
It
secrets?
seems like they have lots of different types of secrets. They don't seem very, very nice. Not like Riot.
Well, I don't think Riot is a hag.
No, she's a tiefling. She's a winged tiefling. They say that... Oh, here we go. Master Volo also says that they say that things come in threes. Good things, bad things, strange things. You know, a coven has 3 members. Are you and your friends witches? That would be quite fascinating.
I sadly don't know too many spells, but that's a fun way to think of us. Because we are a coven of 3. I'll have to propose that to them and let you know if we take on a new name.
Oh, excellent. That would be wonderful. He's just really thrilled. What else? His good friend, Master Elminster, says, hags hate to be in debt to someone who's done them a favor spontaneously, outside of any bargain, and so return any favors unexpectedly to such folk. Huh.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
It is. How do you know if you've given a hag a favor?
And as you're going over through this book and these entries with Carp, Kaeleen finally comes down and she's like, "Oh, it's down at the bottom of a pile. Here you go." And she gives you a spool of thread.
Oh, thank you so much. How much does this cost?
Oh, no bother.
Are you sure? Thank you.
Has Carp been talking your ear off?
No, Carp has been giving me some good information. I haven't had a chance to read Volo's guide, and we've encountered some strange things while we've been out here so far, so it's kind of been good to get some of those holes filled in for us.
Interesting. Yes, there have been many comings and goings of really odd people and monsters, and Carp's. It's captured Carp's interest. I can say that.
Well, it's good to have an awareness of the world around you. But it's also good to, I don't know, it just seems like there's been a lot of people who have gotten caught up in the romance of the adventure and have kind of lost track of the actual danger that's out there. But your son doesn't seem to be flippant about the danger. So
Oh no, they're
that's good.
quite dangerous. Mum, did you know that these three might be witches? She's a friend of Riot's.
We apparently they come in threes.
Oh, I see.
I should probably roll to see if Nevar has a hangover.
Every day, yes. Every 6 days. No, it's 5 days, sorry, yeah.
I don't know. Would I roll con for that? What do I roll?
Yeah, it's Constitution, yeah.
Okay. Oh dear, Nevar is totally hungover the next day. I rolled a natural 1,
All right.
and my con is only 2, so I got a 3.
Oh, goodness, yeah. So, first day, you're a little rough, but because you're carousing, you're going back for hair of the dog in the evening. So, you crawl out of bed, and on the next day, you're in a little bit rough shape, but the place is still busy, but you notice that Lord Merryweather is sitting by himself, and he waves you over.
Okay. She's sort of stumbling a little bit, but she's trying to make it look like she's composed. Even though it's clear, at the very least, she looks like she didn't sleep well and is, kind of dragging. So she kind of, is he at the bar or is he at a table?
He's at a table.
Okay, so she plops herself down in a chair across from him and kind of rubs her head a little bit and takes a look at his mug and says, "What you got there?"
It's actually not a mug. It's a goblet.
Oh,
And he says, "This is many cherries wine. It's quite a popular wine. Have you had some before?"
I haven't.
Would you care for a glass?
Yes, you know what they say about, when you have a hangover, that the best cure is to just keep drinking. So, yeah, I'll take one of those. Oh, does it come with the fancy goblet? Because I definitely want to drink out of that.
He motions in his haughty, lordy sort of way over to Grista at the bar, and he points down at you, gesturing, and you can tell she's not pleased at being gestured at in any way, but she brings over a goblet and just kind of like slams it in front of you and walks away. The barkeep here is rather, she's got quite a bit of a character, isn't she?
She's all right. And then Nevar just starts chugging.
Well, I've been singing your praises throughout town since your assistance with that matter with those ghastly goblins.
Hey, thanks. We appreciate that. It seems to have drummed up a little business for us.
Oh, excellent, excellent. He clinks glasses with you. Cheers to that.
Cheers, here. And she gulps again.
Have you determined the properties of that wondrous instrument? I surmised you would be able to do so.
Oh, yeah. I did spend a little time studying it and figuring it out. I think when you play it, it can create illusions. I haven't put it into action yet, but I think it could come in handy with, maybe some distractions or hey, you know what? And she reaches down into her other boot, opposite of the one that she keeps her white carved one in, and she pulls it out and she's like, here it is. And can I play it? Mm-hmm. Do I have to roll something?
You do not need to roll anything for that, I don't believe.
So how does it work? Do I just think about what I want it to create? Mm-hmm. Cool. So she'll start playing it softly, and suddenly it appears that like black down feathers are falling slowly all around them.
Lord Merriweather looks up and he just laughs and puts his hand out, and it's like black snow. How wondrous indeed. And the rest of the patrons sort of gasp. And do you want to do maybe like a charisma
or
check?
like a performance?
Yeah, performance. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, charisma's higher, I guess, if I wanted to have a better chance. Oh, if it's charisma, it's 7. If it's performance, it's 5.
So the patrons are they're interested for a moment, and then they kind of turn away.
Wah, wah.
Well, I suppose it's like any instrument. You ought to keep practicing at it. That was really wondrous, though. If you kept at it, I dare say Grista could use a performer in here. Brighten up the place, wouldn't it?
Yeah, she stops playing and she's kind of looking at it more closely. And she's like, yeah, well, technically that's only like the second time I've ever played it. They say practice makes perfect. But that's not a bad idea there, Merriweather. I think you might be onto something. I tend to have a bit of a boisterous lifestyle in the night times, so I could probably use a little extra coin in my pocket. And she kind of tips the flute in his direction with a smirk and then slips it back into her boot.
And he pours up some more drinks, and for the rest of the night, he will continue to paying for bottles of Many Cherries wine. So you can spend the rest of your night doing that. And then, because you're carousing for the week, we're going to fast forward some bits of it. But I did want to sort of interject in here that, as you're going around town, when you're up and about and able to, you do notice that Alana is almost always in your periphery. She's either doodling in her book, or every once in a while you'll notice that she'll kind of like come up in your trail and pick up a feather that's fallen off a quoth.
I'd like to catch her at some point. I notice that she's following behind me and a feather falls off and she grabs it, and I just playfully, like, swiftly turn and catch her. And I'm like, hey, those are mine. And she points to her shawl thing that she weaves feathers into.
And she's a little bit embarrassed and just gives you back the feather.
And Nevar, like, playfully snatches it and stops and looks at it and goes, all right, this one's to get you started. And she hands it back.
And she's like jumping up in her place. Thanks so much. And then she takes it and runs off.
Adorable.
And then at the end of the week, so you're carousing, so that's got a bit of a cost, and there's also there are also results and complications that might occur from carousing.
From being drunk for a week.
Yeah. So So towards the end of the week, you're stumbling out. It's not quite the last day yet, but after a few drinks, you go to the town square, and you swear that you're going to pursue a dangerous quest.
Okay, I've decided. I've gotten the crazies out of me. Wait, here, let's roll to see if I'm sober. 8?
Nope.
Okay, I'm definitely wobbling and stumbling my way to the town square. Is there like a job board?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
So you can go to the quest board and just randomly pick something, and I can assign you what that quest is during the
Okay,
next
so she's gonna
adventure.
stumble up to the quest board. She's got the hiccups, typical like cartoon style, like, and she puts her hand up on the board and like stiffs her arm and leans her whole body into it, and then just looks, and she's slowly scanning the board, and she's like, "Gwath, we gotta get it together. The Raven Queen is like counting on us to do, you choose." And so she just points at the board, and should I like roll to see which one it is, or?
I'll yeah,
Just
sure.
pick one. Okay, so I'll have Quoth will just flap up and grab one with his beak,
Sure.
and anyone at random.
Yeah. And so he picks up the scroll, and because you're so inebriated, you can't even read it straight at this moment, so you're just gonna like...
Oh yeah, I'm just like, oh, that's a lot of words. That's too many words. And she just rolls it back up and pockets it for later and stumbles back to her room at the inn.
And then so this is like your second and last night of downtime. The next day, as your head is, actually, if you want to do a constitution saving throw to see if you
I really
have
hope
it
she
over.
starts to sober up. She's never going to get anything done. Oh, 22. Natural 20.
So
She is
miraculously
chipper, jumping out of bed.
however it worked out, it was like maybe like the super drinking cleared your head. I don't know, but you have a very clear head in the morning.
I drank a tonic, like an herbal tea before bed. I was like, okay, this is enough. We need to get serious.
But as soon as you get out into like the town square outside of the inn, Sildar Hallwinter approaches you.
Nevar, hi. He's waving you over.
So she's sober and she's awake, but still, this is her first day clear-headed, and so she's kind of like squinting at the sun, and she's feeling super overwhelmed by Sildar's eagerness. So you could just tell she's sort of like she just backs up a little, and she's like, good morning, Sildar.
Nevar, you look well. I heard some things about the week you might have, but you look fantastic. It's so great to see you. I just have you seen Alana around at all?
Oh no, is she lost again?
Oh no, nothing like that. I just she's she's a little what's the word, distant, dark. I'm not sure if you...
Nevar just perks an eyebrow as in like, what are you getting at?
Well, you know my Alana. She's the sweetest girl, but I found some of her clothes and ribbons in the bin this morning. It just, all her bright things have been tossed away, like she just doesn't want them anymore. And I have to say, I was so happy when she was only, talking about how much you helped her in the woods, and she's only speaking about you, but she's talking about some quite dark things, and speaking of the Raven Queen, and a lot of talk of death, and it just seemed like this might be up your alley, maybe.
I mean, yes, and doesn't sound like anything's wrong to me.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. I mean, there's nothing wrong with death and ravens.
No, it's a natural cycle
Right.
of life.
Right. That's what I was thinking too, of course. I guess what I'm more trying to say is it's such a change in just 1 week, you know. And again, I don't know exactly what happened in the woods, but I'm just worried for her.
I don't think you need to be worried. I mean, how old is she now? She's like, you know, she's a budding woman. She's a teenager, right? She's like figuring out what she's into and who she is. And, you know, sometimes it takes a little introspection, and sometimes that can get a little dark, but there's nothing wrong with dark, you know, like, look, the woods are scary, and she saw some stuff, and she's probably just processing it. So, you know, some of us process things differently.
As you're at this part of the conversation, Alana shows up next to you, Nevar, and she's pretty much dressed the same as you.
She's like a little mini-me.
Basically, she's...
Does she have the same asymmetrical fringe in the front?
Yeah, she's done the hair and everything, and she's actually put on like a little bit of like makeup to make her face look like more vampiric, I guess. And she just stands next to you, and she tries to mimic your stance.
Oh, it's definitely contrapposto.
And she's just like, Dad, are you embarrassing me?
Oh, there's my little girl. You look so great.
And Nevar puts her hand on her hip and she goes, yeah, Dad, are you embarrassing her?
You too. Oh, peas in a pod, huh? This is great. This is good. This is a good thing. Yes? This is a
Nevar
good thing?
gives Alana a good look over, and she goes, I like your style.
She turns a little bit. There's a little bit of pink showing through the makeup.
Although she kind of gently brushes her hair with her fingers and goes, although I do miss those ribbons. We should get you some black ribbons.
She nods. Totally.
Yeah, that would definitely complete the look. What do you think, Dad?
So Sildar is like widely smiling and nodding his head, but saying nothing at all. Just like,
It's like I'm dying inside.
Yes. But keep this smile. Keep this smile. This is a good thing.
And she looks back at Alana and she goes, hey, didn't I see you doing some drawing in a little journal or notebook or something?
Oh, I was writing poetry.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I like to write a bit of poetry too. Do you have any on you right now?
Yeah. She's doing the whole tween, like, super embarrassed thing where she's looking down and starting to twirl her hair.
And Nevar's like, we should compare notes later. And then she looks back at Sildar and she goes, see, she's doing creative writing. I mean, she's just blossoming right before your eyes.
At the word blossoming, Sildar like pushes his head back. He's just like, ugh, ugh. Not what I signed up for.
So you can sort of like part ways at this point, but what Alana's gonna do is she's gonna like tear out a page from her journal and hand it over to you, and then just like run away real fast because she doesn't want to be there while you're reading it.
Oh, that's adorable.
So yeah, she's got this like super gothy poem that she's written.
Can I read it?
Yes. So it says, my pain falls in darkness. Existence screams blackness. Sorrow pours sorrow. My heart awaits loneliness.
Nevar just does like a chef's kiss, like her fingers to her lips, and she just goes, "This is so choice."
And Alana is actually still sort of in your periphery, and she's like looking to see what your expression is. So she catches the whole like chef's kiss thing, and then she takes off.
Oh, so good.
So at some point you can go back with Alana and pick out some ribbons and stuff, but you end your week I guess on a high note, because your last day wasn't hungover.
Yeah, I was finally sober. I was able to read some great literature.
But then so at the end of your 5 days of downtime, you return to the Stonehill Inn, and as you're approaching, Quas actually just takes off into the dark.
Hey, where are you going? I didn't tell you to go anywhere.
He doesn't listen to you. So you head up the stairs to call it a night. And when you get to...
I crack open the window, hoping that Quas comes back.
Before you even get into your room, though, tied around the handle of your room is another black ribbon.
With a feather?
There is no feather on it this time.
Okay, just a ribbon. Mm-hmm. I untie it.
Okay.
I examine it.
Mm-hmm. It looks like the same ribbon.
Okay, is it just like black satin material?
Yeah.
Okay. She reaches in one of her little pouches around her waist and pulls out the other one, compares them. They're the same.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of goes, huh, and slowly puts them back in her pouch.
Okay.
She opens the door.
Okay, so inside you feel this chill in the air, and your eyes fall to the bed, where you see a black leather grimoire, and even the edges of the pages are black, and you know instantly that she has been here. The Raven Queen has been here, and she's left you in possession of the Book of Shadows.
Hey everyone, it's Jen, aka Riot, trapped in the penny pit, or something to be named better later. You know, the more pennies people throw in, I'll be able to climb out for the next episode of D20 Dames, but I'm gonna smell and taste like copper. Well, anyway, if you like what you've been hearing on D20 Dames, the themes of friendship, cool weapons, unbelievable technology, teamwork, gay crushes, then you're gonna really like my new comic from IDW Publishing called Goosebumps, Download and Die. Written by me, Jen Vaughn, drawn by Michelle Wong, colored by Trina Farrell, and edited by Sarah Gatos, Download and Die follows Mitra as she receives a new phone in the mail and mysterious things start to happen. But she might be a little too preoccupied to notice, as her best friend Kira has invited a third player into the game of their life. This 3-issue series will be in stores, your local comic book store, starting on March 28th, 2018. So please go ahead and pick up a copy. I think you're going to dig it. And if you don't, me and R.L. Stein are going to curse you.
D20 Dames is a production of Misadventure Awaits. Music by Middle Essence. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/D20Dames.